is important that we really address these issues. It is important that we explain to the public exactly what it is that is required and exactly what it is that we are facing. And I must say that I rather appreciated Dr. Thwaites starting with an attention to Africa. The concept of vaccination, and it bears repeating, the concept of vaccination developed in Africa. And I smile sometimes when I hear persons of African affinity being critical of vaccines. I say, wow, it really means that they do not understand what has taken place. And it is Africans, as Dr. Thwaites has explained, in the United States, which brought under control the smallpox breakout in that country. But one of the interesting things is that in those days, the practice was called inoculations. And there were specific practices in various communities in Africa, and the practice spread from Africa to southern Europe, particularly in the area of Turkey and in those places, where after a smallpox outbreak, there were special persons in the community who were the designated vaccinators. They were not, of course, called vaccinators at that time, but they would collect the pus from the boil of the smallpox. In the case of smallpox, there were other diseases that were described for inoculations, but they would take the pus from the boil, put it in a moist container and bury it in something like a bottle. And then when the next smallpox season comes around, or there is an outbreak of smallpox in that community or in a nearby community, they would hold a smallpox party, where they would invite persons to come to the party, and the old ladies, usually old ladies, but men also would do it, would then now, as Doc said, scratch the skin, introduce a little bit of the pus, and in that way create an immunity to smallpox. So, for me, it is a tremendous consideration because, and not diverting at all, I have often wondered what were the underlying principles of medicine in Africa pre the arrival of the Europeans. Because there was a lot of herbal medicines, there were inoculations. Principles have broken down, and we only now see fragments of them in the modern world. Having said that, though, and just really to make the point that vaccinations is nothing new, and Doc has elaborated a lot on how technologically we have moved from pus in bottle, scratch an arm, dab in pus. Yes. That is what was done 200 years ago. Today, with our knowledge of technology, we have devised more sophisticated means of creating the same result. But it is the same result. Take the disease entity, give it to the person in whatever form, killed, weakened, spike protein, part of the virus, viral envelope, whatever. Take it, give it to the person. And what does the body say? Ooh, I don't know you. I don't know you. And by saying, I don't know you, the body says, I need to protect myself against you. And it builds up defenses against this foreigner that has invaded the body. Today, we have gone crazy. We've gone crazy because we have so much information and so little knowledge of how to utilize all this information that we have. We are crazy with information, but we know so very little. And I make a distinction between information and knowledge. My laptop and my computer is not knowledgeable about anything. A database is not knowledgeable about anything. It is just a repository of information.
That's right.
Knowledge requires the intervention of the human being. And it is the human being's utilization of information that which is knowledge. And that knowledge has a component which is understanding and use. So before we become knowledgeable, we have to have the information by the human being who understands it and how to use it.